Number 2, we begin by taking note of indicator words. We have the word accordingly, which is a conclusion indicator, and we have the word since, indicating a premise. So we know that our conclusion follows the word accordingly, but we have embedded in here a premise between the conclusion indicator and the conclusion of the argument. We also know that the sentence that precedes the conclusion indicator is the other premise of the argument. Now, I chose to represent the terms here as follows. D represents times suicide rates decline. B represents times people's lives are better adjusted, and R represents recent years. Okay, so if you chose different letters to represent the terms of the argument, you want to do a quick little cross-reference for yourself so that you can compare your version of the argument to the one that I present to you here. Now, you could skip at this point to symbolizing the argument in standard form using these letters or your letters as your terms. I chose to begin by writing out the argument with the full terms. So our conclusion statement is, all recent years are times people's lives are better adjusted. And my first premise is this: all time suicide rates decline are times people's lives are better. And there's a couple of things to take note of here. The word whenever is very important because it indicates that this is an argument about time. And so you can see times cropping up again and again as a kind of parameter in this argument. It also tells me, the word whenever, that whatever follows it is going to be the subject term of my standard form statement. So all time suicide rates decline are times people's lives are better. And then finally, our second premise, all recent years are times suicide rates decline. All right, so when we symbolize this argument, using just the letters, it represents this. You may have different letters. That's fine. You just want to make sure that your conclusion statement is the conclusion statement that I have here on the screen. And you just want to make sure that your argument is in the form of A, figure 1, with your middle terms connected with a line that slopes from left to right. Our Venn diagram is going to prove this argument valid because after we mark in both of the premises, we see that in fact, all are RB. All the R's are here in area 3 after we've marked our premise statements, and therefore this argument is valid. We've got our middle term distributed here in the first premise. We've got a term R distributed in the second premise, but it's also distributed here in the second premise, just like it needs to be, or R is distributed in the conclusion, and it's also distributed in the second premise. None of the other rules apply to this argument, and that proves that this argument, AAA in figure 1, is unconditionally valid.